Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to Cool's Reviews, and we're continuing our look at Shark Week 2025 with these kind of like mini reviews of the three new episodes that go live each night. With night three, we got Great White North Invasion, How to Survive a Shark Attack, and Black Mako of the Abyss. Now, with these ones, again, right off the bat, you're going to see another Great White episode, and I get it. I really, really do. I love great whites too. You know what shark really doesn't get any specials is oceanic white tips. I know there was one on Nat Geo, but we need some more oceanic white tip love. Maybe some love with some basking sharks. I don't know. Just give a little bit of just shake up with the roster of sharks for Shark Week. But also, if you look further down, you see at least one of these episodes is about a mako shark. So I was a little bit happier with that. I mean, I'm still happy I love sharks. I'm just like, I wish we got a little bit more sharks. So, Great White North Invasion is about this expedition that's looking at the numbers of white sharks around in Nova Scotia. So, I guess anyone that kind of got like Oak Island vibes just because it's kind of in the similar area. I get it. But yeah, they're just seeing if there is an increase, if there's a transient population of white sharks, so sharks that are just kind of passing through, or if there's actually a group of sharks that are staying there year round. And as soon as they get there on location, there's some sharks attacking and feeding. And so they're like, oh, yeah, there's definitely some sharks in this water. And they do see a decent amount throughout this episode. I would say none of them seemed overly big. Like, there wasn't any of these like super massive white sharks like we're seeing in the Pacific, but some of them were still about 10, 14 feet, so still really big fish. And I would say this episode pretty solid. Again, it's just kind of researching the white sharks, tagging them, watching them feed, and then getting the data back, which shows actually that the three that they tagged actually kind of live there year round outside of in a winter where they migrate down to Florida and then back up. But it wasn't just like a transient population. They're actually swimming and staking out that area as their home. So I would say a pretty solid start. Nothing like too big or shocking or massive that we need to dive in. Just really nice to see sharks kind of being sharks. The last two nights have opened with competition. So for this one to open up and seem more just like a normal kind of shark documentary was a good start. Again, I did not mind last night's competition, but it felt kind of like a patterny where like the first episode was a competition, the second one was the one you were most looking forward to, and the third one was going to be okay, but maybe not great. Kind of like it peaked in the middle. Now, this night, definitely very interesting. I would say right now, solid 7 out of 10. It's pretty good. I mean, it's decently shot. There's nothing kind of crazy. I know one thing I guess I forgot to mention last night when I was editing. I saw I didn't mention it was when they're calculating the Nile crocodile bite force and it shows it jumping up and they're like it jumps this fast. They show footage of an American alligator. And I know I can't be the only one that noticed it. Uh, but I watched it again today and I was like, no, it's definitely an alligator. So what are you doing, Shark Week? Why did you do that? Maybe they just didn't have footage or they missed the breach there. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't cinematography nice or nothing like that. But yeah, in here you're just seeing sharks being sharks and the divers going in trying to just a set up some cameras around the shipwreck and on boats attempting to tag them so they can just research and learn more about the habits of the white shark. So I think it's a good starting point and a nice, just kind of calm introduction. Nothing outrageous, nothing crazy. And I think this starts off Shark Week night three good. So that takes us on to episode two, How to Survive a Shark Attack, which again has kind of that feel of a like there's been these kind of gimmicky episodes each night. As far as the gimmicky episodes go, it's definitely better than Dancing with Sharks. And I think the host Paul, who we will see in the following episode on the Mako Shark as well, he's been in a couple of these. He kind of subtly is becoming like the face of Shark Week. It seems like if there's an episode, he's going to be there. And I guess if you have someone out there that's willing to get bit and show how to survive a shark attack, it's someone that's already done it, right? And yeah, so if anyone doesn't know, Paul survived a bull shark attack in Sydney, but lost a arm and leg, and so has prosthetics. So when he's getting bitten in this episode in the leg and once in the arm, it's like fake arm and fake leg. So he's not actually getting bitten, but in one part, a shark does actually, I guess, bite him. So I guess there's like two ways to look at it. Is there some good advice given out? I would say, yeah. I mean, I'm sure you can learn some good stuff from this episode if you watch it, and just learn maybe some tidbits about what to do if you're in any of these situations. I think the one that most people are going to find themselves in is swimming and or the scuba diving and like being up close to sharks while they're trying to eat, i.e., feeding sharks. And so the part one or scenario one where he gets bitten on the arm by a pretty decent sized tiger shark. I think it was like 10 to 13 feet, somewhere in that range. And it rips it out and gives it 800 psi. So stronger than the white sharks we were getting yesterday. And it wasn't even as big. So imagine if you get a 20-foot tiger shark, what it could do. But yeah, it rips it off, and he shows you gotta like just how to tourniquet it and how the other divers are supposed to block the person that was bitten so that, other sharks or that shark doesn't come back in. So just good safety tips. Then, like I said, there was swimming, there was also kayaking. This one was inspired by a pretty viral video in Hawaii where a guy is kayaking and a tiger shark just comes up and bites the kayak. So in this one, he puts his fake leg in the water, and the reef sharks are coming up, and like the reef shark grabs the leg and just like rips it out, and blood splatters. Like it's pretty crazy to see, actually. Like, whoa, that was that was something to see. So again, the theatrics, and then he gets knocked into the water, like the kayak tips, and he shows you what to do if you actually get in that situation. And that's when, because the fake arms and legs have like blood, synthetic blood and stuff like that, the sharks kind of start going into a frenzy, and one like bites his prosthetic arm. So luckily, that arm, and not the other one. And these ones that were going into frenzies were just reef sharks. I would say though it was a nice change of pace to see some different sharks, mainly tiger sharks and reef sharks in this one. Nothing crazy. Like they did one about the Indianapolis and how to survive a shipwreck, and they are in some decent depth of water, but nothing too crazy. So again, just kind of some reef sharks, maybe some lemons, and then some. I think there was two tiger sharks at that point, where it did kind of get a little chippy, so they actually kind of called that one early. But no oceanic white tips, and that's definitely the scenario I think that white tips most commonly I think would come to mind is like the sharks that feed off of shipwrecks would be these oceanic white tips. And again, just a really cool shark that I don't think gets enough love. So it'd been nice to see that. But again, then you are in really deep out water. And again, safety wise, probably don't want to be doing that. And again, a little bit more, not aggressive, but definitely more bold sharks than the tigers and reef sharks. So don't want to get in that situation if you don't have to. Again, don't be going out and harassing these animals. They're just trying to live their lives. But overall, I think this was a solid episode. I think Paul being in it made it better. I think if it was anyone else, it probably couldn't have been carried the way it was. I think he does have a pretty good like charisma that comes through that's able to help just like carry a show that he did here. I mean, and some of the other ones he's been in, he's not like the main person, but he was the main one here, and he was doing a great job. So, all props to him. I would think this episode slightly below the first one at a 6. So this night kind of kicks the trend of the best episode being episode 2 in the middle, and it kind of peaking. And this one, it's actually going to kind of valley and go back up in my own. Also, I guess it does break the trend of the episode I'm looking most forward to being in the middle. Maybe other people were looking most forward to this one, but with the previous nights, me looking forward to episode 2 the most, this one I was actually looking to episode 3 about the Mako shark. Again, I was just looking for a more diversity in the roster of sharks that we're seeing in Shark Week 2025. So it was nice to see a Mako, and Mako sharks super cool anyway. Uh, I guess I just have so many favorite sharks, and white sharks are definitely in my favorite shark list somewhere. Uh, but Mako sharks are super cool. I know they're getting more love, especially post like deep blue sea era, where people definitely got more of a idea of what a Mako shark looked like. These like kind of sports car great whites, right? But in this episode, they're on the hunt for a what's quote unquote called a black Mako by a local fisherman who's seems actually pretty knowledgeable in Mako sharks. He like knows when they're going to come out. He knows how to bring them up to the surface, how to make them, breach. So yeah, he was having him on the episode. I think definitely helped the chances. Obviously, when they were kind of setting up the episode, I'm sure they did their due diligence. But yeah, no. So he captured a video of a pretty large looking Mako shark. It was black in coloration, pretty black all the way, even to the bottom, where it's more of like a dark gray or dark tan. And it did have some Barado teeth, which I guess if you're a fan of paleontology like we are, maybe saying a broad tooth mako brings up a different type of shark, which they actually do talk about in this episode. It's kind of crazy because they talk about great whites and makos and where one of their common ancestors may have been, which was the broad tooth mako. So there's all types of theories. What could this be? Could it be like a mutant mako, just an abnormality? Could it be a hybrid mako between a great white and a mako shark, which I don't think can happen because they're different genus, but I don't know. I haven't really researched it too much, but I know like when you get koi wolves, it's because they're the same genus of animal, different species, but same genus. So that's why they're able to interbreed. I don't know if the white shark and mako shark could. At least not in the wild, I guess. Maybe in a lab, a la like Jurassic Park, or where you're mixing DNA just because of where they fall and what genuses they are. Whereas it's so I don't know, but they at least throw that idea out. They also throw out the idea maybe it's just a long fin mako because what most of the time what people think of as a mako shark is the short fin mako, which is actually the smaller of the two. They get up to about 10, maybe 11 feet in length, whereas the can get up to 15 feet. I mean, they're pretty big. And I know I should say the short fin. There's been some cases of some pretty big ones. I know they did one where there was like a 15-footer, which is insane. But yeah, the long fin makos, as the name implies, have longer pectoral fins. So pretty easy to tell them apart, as well as the long fin makos are darker in color. So the final theory is maybe it's a mix of the two. Maybe it's part short fin mako, part long fin mako, and they do end up seeing two other, black makos as they call them. But unfortunately, they were unable to get DNA. The big ones really only came out at nighttime. They didn't get any like close-up shots, and the one time they had a good opportunity, for some reason they didn't have the DNA thing to like. I don't know. I would have had that ready at all times. I know it's a long time in the episode they show some of the time passing. But overall, I would say this was by far the episode I was looking forward most to, and the episode I think delivered the most. Solid 8 out of 10. Definitely in contention for the best Shark Week 2025 episode. Maybe at the end we'll do like my favorite episodes and rank them or something. I don't know. I haven't thought that far ahead. And again, I think this episode's just helped out as well by the cast that it brings together. They all work really good together, and they're all really good on TV. It's again a very hard, like I think, middle ground to hit where you can also sound and know what you're talking about, and also get it across in an entertaining way. So I think this one a pretty solid cast. You got Kendall Berna. Paul was back from the last episode, so again, like I said, we already know he was really good at carrying that episode. So putting him in a ensemble cast that I think was pretty good. Keith Poe, who was the person that originally got the footage of that first Black Mako, very good on camera, and again, he seemed pretty knowledgeable, at least on the habits of the maker. Maybe not on like the biology or whatever. I don't know. They they didn't go that far, but he at least knew the habits of the Makos and where to find them and at what time. So having him on board, I think, helped. And Tristan was back from that Jaws versus Mega Croc episode. So yeah, again, it's just a kind of, you got to have that right mix of topic, what you film, storytelling, and cast to bring it together. But definitely a very solid episode and a very solid ending to night three of Shark Week. Now tomorrow is the night that I think I was looking most forward to, just kind of blind, not knowing or not seeing any of these episodes. Seemed like the one I would be most interested in because you got Josh Gates' Expedition Unknown, you got the Expedition X episode, and Forrest Galante. So I was like, that seems like the night I'm looking most forward to. We will see if it delivers. Like I said, Air Jaws Hunt for Claws is really good. Jaws versus Mega Croc, another pretty entertaining one. And tonight, Black Mako the Abyss, another really good one. So we will see how night three shapes up. Will it be a pretty solid night or will it disappoint? Maybe my just excitement for this night is too much and it won't live up to it. We'll find out. But if you guys want more Cools reviews, click that link to your left. It's going to be night two of Shark Week. So if you want to see my thoughts, pop on over there. For more about us here at Cools Paranormal, click that link to your right. It's a museum, and if you know Tombstone, I'm your Huckleberry. And don't forget to hit that like, give us a subscribe, and let us know again what was your favorite episode of Night 3 of Shark Week 2025. Tell us in the comments below.